Well, it's been a couple of weeks, but we're back with the Cilo, or however you say it. The tires are different. Dom wanted the black ones. If you want to check out his build, head over to my Instagram. Same name as the YouTube channel. I don't need to put it in the link. You can find it. Cream ones look really good though. I was already on edge of using them, so I think it's probably for the better. Let's get into it. First things first, I got a box of parts here. Got a kickstand that I probably won't use. Got a wonderful set of Dior cranks. Came off the bike. I will be using those. I've got barrel adjusters for the brakes and the full bottom bracket in here. This thing feels great. I'm going to reuse that. I've got the original pedals, Shimano Diors. They feel wonderful. Going to reuse those. I've got the full Dior brake set. They feel great. Going to reuse those. I've got the Dior front derailleur and matching rear derailleur. Those are wonderful. Brake levers, again, feel great. Friction shifters, we love friction shifters. Gonna use those. I've got the silver crank bolt caps. Gonna use those. I've got the little, what are these called? Cable guide. Gonna use that. Crank bolts, box is empty. One other thing I'll need is a fresh chain. We ran out of 8-speed chains, so 9-speed will do. And yeah. So with this bike, I really wanted to swap the bar and stem. I was gonna do a BMX stem with some moto style bars. However, the threadless adapter that I normally use went out of stock for a little while, and I keep putting off filming this video and making excuses. So for today, we're gonna use the stock setup. I think it's good enough for now. The first thing I like to start with is the bottom bracket. It's been a while since the last video, and I really had to take a minute to remember where it was that I left off. That's okay. So right here we have bottom bracket, drive side and non-drive side cups. The bearings go in as such. Nope. The bearings go in as such and spin on this guy. They felt really good in the old bike, just a little, old grease. So if you ever find yourself wanting to reuse an old bottom bracket cup like this, you just want to get yourself some grease and shove it in there. It's not very hard. You want to use as much as you can fit. And then when you drop your bearing in there, a bunch will spill out. And you want to take that and pack that in there. You just want to make sure your cup is filled with grease. Then it should be good to go. We gotta do this other one. Like that. Now let's put these in the bike. Bottom brackets always screw in towards the back of the bike. So I will start the thread by sitting it up against the cup or the bottom bracket shell. Feel it click. Just like that. Wait. Right there. You'll find your first thread. Like that. Then you just rotate it back until it starts to go in smooth. And then if you have writing, say Shimano, you want that writing to be readable from a seated position. So I'll read it this way. So this will go in this way. And I really wanted to reuse this bottom bracket because it is a Dura-Ace bottom bracket. And that's nice. Again, same thing. rotate forward till you feel the threads kind of line up, and then you rotate backwards. Now, depending on the bottom bracket, you might have different tools needed to put these things on. For the drive side on this one, it's the 2 flat style, and I'm using a 36 wrench, 36, what is this, box wrench? Oh, flat wrench? I don't know the names of tools. I just know how to use them. So I'm just gonna spin that until it's tight. And I believe the torque on these bottom brackets is UGA and DUGA, so it's gonna be a full oomph. There you go. And this non-drive cup has these little holes in it. Those are gonna line up with a pin spanner, which has the matching pins to the holes, as the name suggests. These can be a bit fiddly, and I'm glad most companies stopped producing these. So when you're snug it up this side, you don't want to full torque it like the other side. I normally go full torque off a tiny bit. You want to check that it feels smooth, and then it has no play, which this one feels very good. The last piece we need to put on is the lock ring. Most lock rings have a flat face and a chamfered face. The flat face will go up against the bottom bracket shell. This is same thing. I'm gonna turn it till it catches, snug it up with my fingers. And again, these lock rings can have different tooth profiles, and there are multiple different tools that you might need to tighten this. One of the most common mistakes, this is an HCW-5. This is an HCW-17. This one and this one, they might look very similar, but they're for different things. This one, it doesn't make a full half crescent, you see. It's a little different. This is actually for a fixie lock ring. So that's the wrong tool. We need this one. See how nicely that sits on there? And that just gets snugged up. And now your vintage bottom bracket should be installed. Naturally, the next step after bottom bracket should be cranks. I've got a little bit of grease on my fingers. I just want to rub that around on the spindle so that in the future, in another 30 to 40 years, whenever this thing gets rebuilt again, whoever takes it off, it'll come off nice and smooth. This is pretty simple, unless you have Campagnolo cranks or something silly like that. You just kind of put the bolts on and tighten them down. You're going to tighten these to pretty damn tight. That's what I would say. Same thing, other side. Once we get the cranks on, this is kind of our final check of the bottom bracket. Make sure that's tight. I go back and forth. I feel no rocking, and nice and smooth. So this whole area is good to go. For the next stuff, we're gonna take her around back. We're gonna install this lovely derailleur. If you missed what I just did, I put a tiny bit of grease on the actual threads of the derailleur hanger bolt. That's just to make sure it never gets seized. Oh, look at that thing. Nice and smooth. Beautiful. Next thing I'm going to do is the front derailleur. Since this is the front derailleur that came off the bike, I'm going to look for the little indentations from when it was mounted before and line the derailleur up with those. That way, you can blame the previous person who installed it when your front derailleur doesn't work correctly. Torque spec on this is tight, not tight enough to crush your tubing, because that is possible, I believe. About yay tight. Also, nice and smooth. Coming back around the front now to install all the controls for this bike. This guy, we've got a front and a rear shifter and front and rear brakes. Oh, it's a little tight. Whoops. Just like that. Here's something that I like to think about when I'm installing controls. When you're putting stuff together, think about where your hand is going to be. So if my hand is resting here on the grip, this lever is plenty long for me to grab. However, with how I have this set up right now, I'm moving my hand to get to the friction shifter, which is maybe not ideal. So let's see if it works better the other way. This kind of stuff is all up to personal preference. Now here's the problem. The way that this friction shifter sits, they run into each other. So basically, what Shimano is telling you is fuck your ergonomics, you're running them this way, which is fine. It's just how it's going to be. For this bike, we're going to install some of my favorite grips as of recently, the ESI silicone chunkies. I used to make fun of people who ran these grips because I thought they were stupid. They wear out kind of fast, but they are really cheap, and they're foam. And a lot of XC racers use them because weight savings. But I found out that on these old bikes that are very stiff tubing, overweight tubing, these make your hands feel wonderful. So we're going to put these on. I tend to put these on with some isopropyl alcohol because it lets them slide right on, which I like very much. You can get these in textures and in different thicknesses for big hands, for small hands, gloved riders, non-gloved riders, all sorts of different combinations of grip for every person, which I always appreciate. I don't run these on my big mountain bike, my full squish, but I do run it on my bender. I really like them as a touring grip or anything you might be doing some longer distance on. The last thing is to add these nice little gold ESI bar ends so you don't core your thigh when you inevitably crash off of a handful of beers. Comfy. Another thing that I like to do is I like to put the grips on before I set my controls up fully. You can put the controls on there just so you get an idea of where they're going to sit, but I like to know kind of how everything sits on the in relation to the grip that you chose. I don't know. It's personal preference. You don't really have to do it this way. It's just the way that I do it. All right. Handlebars set up. Not my ideal setup, but this isn't too bad, honestly. And if you missed the last episode, you can go back and watch it. I cleaned all these parts. I also re-lubed the shifters and the brake pivot points. They feel wonderful. What am I missing? Oh, and you put the brakes on. You know, brakes can be a little fiddly. So I hope that worked. I don't know. Now in Chaintown, population me. That was a dumb joke. For these 3 buys, the most common way to measure, which I think most people do, is line it up and then add a link or two, which is going to be this whole chain. So I don't even need to cut it. In my last episode, a couple of people commented about this freewheel, or what I thought was a freewheel that I couldn't get off. I appreciate your guys' comments and knowledge because you're always still learning. No matter how many bikes you work on, you'll always see something new. And it actually gets removed using 2 chain whips, kind of like the newer E13 cassettes. You unscrew this top one and then the rest of it pops off. Didn't know that, now I do. I did pull it off and gave it a little clean, and now it's running great. This chain has a quick link, which is 2 little half pieces of chain that click together. If you haven't seen this before, you're probably living under a rock or just woke up from coma for 30 years. So now we can go ahead and adjust our limit screws, which in the rear looks like could use a little bit of loving, but the front looks pretty good. So just the rear. I have done a video on limit screws before. I don't remember which one, but I did a video on it. So if you want to know how to do limit screws, go back and watch every video that I've ever made. And then you'll learn how to do limit screws. I almost forgot probably one of the most important pieces here, the pedals. These are the Shimano Dior pedals. Is this on camera? Shimano Dior. They feel great. It's got a nice 6mm on the backside. You line up the side of rotation, so this one should say left on it. There we go. You go left, put your 6mm in, and you spin it to the right. Most modern pedals have either a 6 or an 8mm that goes through. And you can just put the pedals on like this. Very simple. Very nice design. No pedal wrench necessary. I like this style of pedal. Anything that has this bolt through it, because you don't need a pedal wrench. And so if you're out and about and your pedal comes loose and you got a multi-tool, you probably got a 6. Look at that fucker spin. It's a beaut. We are now at a point where cables need to go on this bike. If you've been watching for long enough, you know that I don't normally do cables on camera. And this time is no different. So I'm gonna put all the cables on, adjust everything, and then maybe we'll go ride it. It's a beautiful day today, so. Sounds like a plan. Well, here's the bike. It's pretty freaking sweet. I'm a little bummed that I wasn't able to get the bars that I wanted to put on it. And because of that, I left the saddle on. And so really the only thing that we changed from original was taking off the dynamo system, taking off the beat up and ugly fenders, and putting on new tires. Everything else, all original. The wheels, the drivetrain, the controls, everything's original, or at least how I got it. And it rides wonderfully. It is a little bit on the small side for me. I'm 5'9", so I don't know, 5'3" to 5'6" maybe, somewhere in that range. Probably be a good bike for you. I would love to sell it to somebody who's going to give it a good life, do some stuff to it, make it their own. So if that's you, let me know. And yeah, let's go over what we've created here, and then I'm probably going to go ride it some more. Front to back, I've obviously got the original wheels. They are Shimano Dior hubs with, I believe, Araya rims. threw some Schwalbe Fat Franks in the cream color. Just kind of matches the frame. Thought it would look nice. The original bar and stem, it's a quill stem with the Shimano Dior headset. It's very, very smooth. I put new bearings in it and it just feels amazing. Shimano Dior brakes, brake levers, both of the Canty brakes work very well, surprisingly well actually. Full new cable and housing, obviously. You didn't see me do that, but I just did that. We've got obviously the Dior friction shifters to match the Dior rear and front derailleur with Dior crankset and Dior pedals. That crankset is Biopace. I know it can feel weird at first riding with Biopace, but honestly, it's just something you kind of get used to. Not that big of a deal. You can also swap that out if you want. It's got one of these weird Shimano cassettes that I had not come across before, but it's in great shape. Chainrings are in great shape, and then it's got a fresh KMC X9 chain because I was out of X8s, and the X9 feels just fine. This saddle is a City and Country something or another. I'm guessing it was put on a while back. It doesn't seem like the original saddle to me. It's not super uncomfortable though. It's not quite what I like. We do have a nice fluted seat post. Unfortunately, the seat post had no writing on it, so probably just a stock piece. And then we did do those ESI foam chunky grips. I like those quite a bit. So, if you want the bike, shoot me a DM on Instagram or an email at mulletmechanic@gmail.com. It should be across the screen now. And I'd love to hear what you think of the bike. This is something that I don't normally do, doing like a full original restoration style instead of doing a resto mod. This bike rides great. The tubing is really nice. So, you know, if you fit, you should buy it. That's kind of all I got. So I'll see you in the next one, whenever that is.